Hello everyone, welcome back to EconArthik. So today we are going to discuss 2004 December UGC NET paper 2. Let's begin with question 1. Read question carefully. The laws of return to scale assume option A, technique of production is unchanged. Option B, all units of factors are homogeneous. Option C, returns are measured in physical terms. Option D, all of the above. So the correct answer is option D, all of the above. So explanation of this question, the laws of return to scale operate under the following assumptions. Assumption 1, technique unchanged. Technology remain fixed throughout the analysis in any production function. We assume the technology is unchanged. It's fixed. Assumption to homogeneous factors. So each unit of labor and capital, it is identically in quality. Assumption C. Yeah, assumption 3. Physical measurement. Output is measured in physical units, not monetary value. So this question and laws of return to scale satisfy the three assumptions. So our correct answer is option D, all of the above. Question number 2. Payment of interest as a factor reward is explained by option A, productivity theory. Option B, abundance theory. Option C, time preference theory. And option D, all of the above. So let's see the explanation. Productivity theory is interest equal the marginal product of capital. Abundance theory is talking about the interest reward abstaining from present consumption to make saving available for investment. This theory is given by senior. Next theory we have time preference theory given by von Weber. Interest compensates for preferring present goods over future. So all these three theories satisfy the factor rewards as a interest. So the correct option is option D, all of the above. Next question, question number 3. In the light of revealed preference theory, consider the following axioms. We have given four axioms in option A, rationality, consistency, transitivity, and non-satiation. Choose codes. So option in option A we have given A and B are correct. Option B, all four axioms are correct. Option C, A and C are correct. And D, A, B, and C are correct. Let's see the explanation of these axioms. So revealed preference theory is given by Paul Samuelson. So first axiom given is rationality. So consumer make deliberate, consistent choice. So revealed preference theory satisfy this axiom rationality. Axiom 2, consistency. If A is revealed preferred to B, then B is never revealed preferred to A. This is weak axiom revealed preference theory. And third axiom is transitivity. So if A choose at least as good as B and B at least as good as C, then A is at least as good C. This is strong axiom revealed preference theory. So these three axioms are satisfy the revealed preference theory, and option D, sorry, option D is correct answer for this question, and axiom 4 is non-satiation. So this is related to indifference curve, not revealed preference theory. Now moving to next question. Question number 4. Match group 1 with group 2. Group 1 we have given the theories, and in group 2 we have a economist name. So the kinged demand theory is given by Paul Sweezy, and full cost pricing is given by Hall and Hitch, and C sales maximization is given by Wormel, and D limit pricing model is given by Ben. So this is the explanation of this question. Paul Suiji given a king demand curve in 1939 used for explain price rigidity in oligopoly market. Full cost pricing is average cost plus and normal profit margin. Sales maximization, firm maximize sales revenue subject to minimum profit constraint and limit pricing. uh, this states incumbents set price low enough to deter new entrants. Question number 5. Starting from the earliest, arrange the following concept in terms of their development in demand theory. One, revealed preference. Second is Newman and Mongostan utility theory, ordinal utility and cardinal utility. So let's see the explanation. Cardinal utility is given by Marshall, Givos, and Walras. Time period is 1870s to 1890. Ordinal utility given by Hicks, Allen, and Pareto in period 1930s. Third one is revealed preference given by Paul Samuelson. We can already know from previous question. So this period of this theory is 1938. And fourth, Newman Morgenstern utility given by von Neumann and Morgenstern in 1944. So correct answer is here. We have not add options. So arrange this manner in this way. First come cardinal utility, then ordinal utility, third position for revealed preference, and last one is Newman Morgenstern utility. Question number 6. The notion of production function implies economic efficiency, technical efficiency, allocative efficiency, and all of the above. When we use a production function like function of capital and labor, so technical efficiency is talking about the maximum output from given inputs. There is no waste. Economic efficiency is minimum cost for given output and optimal inputs. Allocative efficiency is value of marginal product equal to factor price. The marginal product of labor divided by marginal product of capital is equal to wage divided by rent for capital. So correct option is D, all of the above. Question number 7. The core of an economy constant. This question is from general equilibrium. So option A, all Pareto optimal allocations. Option B, all competitive allocations. Option C, all Pareto improving allocations of the initial endowments. Option D, all the feasible allocations. So explanation for the core is the set of feasible allocation that determine the are individually rational. Each agent is at least as well off as at their initial endowment, cannot be blocked by any coalition. No group can redistribute among themselves to make all members better off. So the core is subset of Pareto optimal allocation by the core equivalence theorem. This theorem is given by Debrew and Scrapp. As the economy become large, the core shrinks to the set of competitive equilibrium. So correct option is all Pareto optimal allocation. That is option number A. Question number 8. Demand for consumer durable and human capital forms part of the consumption demand model developed by which economist? A. Friedman, B. Tobin, C. Robinstein, Roden, and D. Wormels. So Friedman is given the permanent income hypothesis. Consumption is equal to permanent income with alpha is marginal propensity to consume. Tobin extended the consumption function using a portfolio balance approach, incorporating consumer durable and human capital, also known for Tobin's Q theory. So Tobin's Q theory is equal to market value of capital divided by replacement cost of capital. Rothstein Roden given the big push theory of development economics. Baumol's given the theories of sales maximization and inventory theory of money. So correct option is B. Tobin. Question number 9. Money multiplier determine. Option A, total supply of money in the economy. Option B, high powered money. Option C, component of money supply. Option D, employment and output in the economy. So correct answer is total supply of money is the economy. This is true fact. When we calculate the money multiplier and money multiplier components like currency deposit ratio and reserve ratio, this is determine how much money supply in the economy. So let's see the money multiplier formula. M small m is equal to 1 plus c divided by r plus c. Here small c is currency deposit ratio, small r is reserve ratio, and capital H is high powered money. This is also known as monetary base. The multiplier tell us why how much total money supply expands for an unit change in high powered money. So we know the high powered money is also known as a monetary base. It determines the how much money supply require in the economy. So here we can see the reserve ratio with money multiplier relationship is inverse relationship. When the reserve ratio is increased, money supply will decrease. So the total money supply is in the economy is depend on the money multiplier. Question number 10. Match group 1 quantity theory equations with group 2 economist. Here we have given the four equations of quantity theory equation and economist name. So in of A group 1 M V is equal to PT. Here M is money, V is velocity, P equal to price level, and T is transaction. This equation is given by Irving Fisher equation of exchange, also known as equation of exchange. Next we have capital M V is equal to K P Y is this given by Friedman. Here M and V is money and velocity. K is the desired money to income ratio. Y is real income. Third is MV is equal to function of R by W. Here R is interest rate, Y is income, and W is wealth. This equation is given by Marshall and also known as Cambridge demand for money. Fourth one is money demand divided by price is equal to under root 2B capital T divided by R, this given by Baumol and also known as inventory theoretic approach 1952. Here V is transaction cost, T is total transaction, and R is interest rates. This is analogous to the economic order quantity. Question number 11. According to Friedman, the consumption of household depend on transitory income, permanent income, life permanent income, and transitory income, none of the above. So Milton Friedman given the permanent income hypothesis with equation consumption is equal to alpha into capital YP. Here C is the consumption, alpha is marginal propensity to consume, and capital YP is permanent income. So the consumption depend on the permanent income. So option A, B is correct option, permanent income. Transitory income is not a permanent income kind of things. It is windfall bonuses has little no more effect on the consumption. Household smooth consumption over their lifetime based on a permanent income. So this is the explanation of this question. Now question number 12. In this question, we have given the assertion and reason. Assertion is in a given good, a rise in price raises the quantity demanded, and reason is A rise in price of given good raises the supply price of capital at low income. So the option A is both accession and region are correct. Option B, accession and region are correct but not correct explanation. C, accession is true but region is false. In D, accession is false and region is true. So let's see the explanation of this question. Given good is income effect dominant and reverse the substitution effect. When the price increase, real income will decrease, cannot afford superior substitutes, buy more of inferior good. Demand curve slope upward with a given good and in case so that change in demand divided by change in price is greater than 0. Sletsky equation is talking about the break the demand in two effects, substitution effect and income effect. Substitution effect is always negative. Income effects is depend on the conditions of goods. Here income effect is dominates. So the correct option is A. Both A and R true and R is correct explanation of A in case of the given good when the price of increase of given good then the demand of that good will increase. Question number 13. What is the shape of long run Phillips curve? Option A horizontal straight line, option B vertical straight line, option C upward sloping and option D downward sloping. So here we have a table. This is important for exam perspective. In short run, Phillips curve is shape downward sloping. Implication of that trade-off between inflation and unemployment. In long run, shape is vertical and it's also explain the natural rate of unemployment. No permanent trade-off between inflation and unemployment. This is also known as expectation augmented model given by Milton Friedman. Inflation is equal to expected inflation minus capital beta in bracket capital U minus U star. Here U star is natural unemployment and U is natural rate. So expansionary policy only generates accelerating inflation, not lower unemployment. So correct option is vertical straight line in long run. Question number 14. Which of the following does not affect the volume of money supply in the economy? Option A, household cash holding. Option B, banks cash holding. Option C, banks deposit with central banks. Option D, the cash reserve ratio. Let's see the explanation. Money multiplier M is equal to 1 plus small c divided by R plus C. And so the household cash holding affect the currency ratio. It's change the money multiplier and affect the monetary base. Bank cash holding affect reserve ratio also. It's affect credit creation. When the bank have the more reserve ratio, it's bank do the more credit creation. So it is also affect the M. C, we have bank deposit with central bank. This is not affect the multiplier. So this is also component of high powered money base and cash reserve ratio is directly affect the money multiplier. So here the correct option is C. Money supply in the economy is not affected by the bank deposit with central bank. Question number 15. Match group 1 with group 2. Group 1 we have given Arjun Dhandu, choice of technique, stage of economic growth and strategy of economic development. In group 2 we have given the economist name. So let's see. Arjun Dhandu is given by Maydrell, is talking about circular and cumulative causation, regional imbalance in the development. Choice of technique is given by Rosto, appropriate technology selection in the development stage. Stages of economic growth is given by Rosto. Here is two Rosto W. Both are same, not other economist name. So Rosto given the five stages in the stages of economic growth. So these are the five stages. First one is traditional stage, second is preconditions, third is takeoff, fourth is maturity, and five is high mass consumption. This theory is published in 1960s. And fourth, we have given the strategy of economic development is given by Harrisman in 1958. It is talking about the unbalanced growth, forward and backward linkages in the economy. Question number 16. Trace out the correct order in which of the following measurement of development were introduced. Per capita income, Human Development Index, and PQLI. So per capita income, PQLI and HDI. PQLI is have three components: literacy, infant survival, and life expectancy. So per capita income is developed by traditional economics in the year 1970s. PQLI developed by Morris D. Morris in 1979, and HDI is developer is UNDP and developed by Mehboob ul Haq. And here also we have need to remember the Amrit Sen economics. So also a part of HDI in 1990. Calculate HDI through the using this formula: income, education, and health in under root 1 by 3. So correct option is not here. We add, don't add. So first come per capita income, then PQLI, and last is HDI for this sequence. Question number 17. Which equation satisfies the condition of stable growth Herod-Domer model? Option A, actual rate of growth is equal to warranted rate of growth. Option B, warranted rate of growth equal to natural rate of growth. Option C, actual rate of growth equal to natural rate of growth. And option D, all of the above. So correct answer is B, warranted rate of growth equal to natural rate of growth. Let's see the explanation. Actual rate growth G is equal to change in income divided by income is realized growth. Warranted growth is equal to saving divided by CR consumption with interest keeps entrepreneurship satisfied. Natural growth GN is equal to N plus lambda is maximum growth with labor plus technology. So actual growth is equal to warranted growth is short run equilibrium only unstable knife edge condition. Warranted growth is equal to natural growth is longer and stable balanced growth at the full employment without inflation. And where when we talk about warranted growth rate greater than natural growth rate, this is secular stagnation. And most important things is other condition is warranted growth rate less than is natural growth rate is inflationary pressure. So correct option is in stable, that is B, warranted rate of growth equal to natural rate of growth in Herod-Domer model. Question number 18. Which is not a correct statement about the benefit cost approach? Option A, there is divergence between private benefits and public benefits. Option B, there is a divergence between private and public costs. Option C, market prices do not reflect opportunity cost of factors. Option D, both public and private. owners coexist in the economy. Let's see explanation. Option A, there is divergence between private benefits and public benefits. It's true in a sense of benefit cost approach. Second statement is also true. Third is market price do not reflect opportunity cost of factors. This is not correct. It is used for the shadow price. In shadow price is true opportunity cost not equal to distorted market price. Saying market price do not reflect opportunity cost in problem solve not a feature of the approach. BC here is nothing. It is cost price cost benefit cost approach. These mixed economies have both public and private sectors. So question is not correct about benefit cost approach. So option number C, market price do not reflect opportunity cost of factors. Now moving to question number 19. Consumption cost model was introduced in Indian planning for the first time in which plan? So option A, third 5-year plan, fourth plan, fifth plan, and sixth plan. This introduced in fifth plan, 1974 to 79. Let's understand some explanation of for these plans here given third, fifth, sixth, and fourth. Third plan 1961 to 66, Manlow's model and heavy industry. But this Manlow's model introduced in I think second 5-year plan. So key feature we can add heavy industry. So not worry about it. Fourth plan 1969 to 74. Here India economy think about self-reliance and stability. These are the key features of these 5-year plans. Fifth 5-year plan 1974 to 79 consumption cost model, and sixth plan 1980 to 85, also known as rolling plan, drafted by DP Dhar, focused on poverty removal and self-reliance uh, in which fear plan in fourth 5-year plan. Introduce the minimum needs program and slogan Garibi Hatao, remove poverty. This is important. Sometimes question directly asked which slogan that is Garibi Hatao in which 5-year plan. So the correct option is fifth plan. For this question, consumption cost model was introduced in Indian planning for the first time in fifth 5-year plan. Question number 20. We have given assertion in region. Assertion, less developed countries do not share equitably in the gains from trade. Region, less developed countries do not have equity in the gain from trade. So option A, both A and R correct, true explanation. Both A and R true but not correct explanation. In option C, assertion is true but region is false. In option D, assertion is false but region is true. So let's see explanation. Assertion true. Three which singular hypothesis face secular deterioration in terms of trade. Terms of trade is equal to export divided by import prices over time for the LDC, less developed countries. Region is tautology, is merely state assertion without explaining why actual region is includes following. Deteriorating terms of trade is a previous singular. Inelastic demand for primary commodity export, structural dependency and technological gap, and unequal exchange. This theory is Emmanuel theory. So the correct option is B. Both assertion and region are true, but region is not correct explanation of assertion. Now moving to question number 21. Match the following and select the correct answer from the codes given below. In group 1, we have given increase in potential GNP, output per unit of input, production at a point inside production possibility frontier, development through expansion of all sector of the economy. In group B, X inefficiency, balanced growth, economic growth, allocative efficiency, and productivity. Let's see match. Increase in potential GNP, it is economic growth. So first one match to the third. Output per unit of input, it is talking about productivity. So second match to the 5. Let's see options. First one match to 3 and second match to 5. So we can use our trick. So correct option is B. Let's see. Option number B is correct. Now also we can see the production inside production probability frontier is X inefficiency. This is explained by Levestein. A firm operates below its production possibility frontier due to internal slack, poor management, or lack of competitive pressure. Development through expansion of the all sectors, it is balanced growth given by Nurse, Robinstein, Rodan in balanced growth strategy, simultaneous and proportional expansion of all sectors to break the vicious circle of poverty. So correct option is B. Question number 22. The following is a list of activities in the economy. A option is 1 and 3, 2 are correct. B 1, 3 and 2, C 1, 3 and 4, and D all the 4. So 1 is allocation, second production, third distribution, and 4 is stabilization. Let's see the explanation. Richard Musgrave identified 3 branches of a government economic activity. First is allocation. Function of this providing public goods, correcting market failures. This is true. Distribution, redistributing income and wealth equitably. This is also true. Stabilization is function of maintaining full employment, price stability and growth. Also true. The production is fourth one. So this is the primary private sector function, not one of the Musgrave 3 branches. So Musgrave explain only 3: allocation, distribution, and stabilization. Correct option is option number C, 1, 3rd, and 4. So 1 is allocation, 3rd is distribution, and 4th is stabilization. Production is generally defined as a private sector activity. Although government may produce some goods, example defense, law and orders, it is not listed as one of the Musgrave 3 canonical physical function. So correct option is C. Question number 23. The shape of Laffer curve is option A U-shaped, option B inverted U-shaped, option C L-shaped, option D J-shaped. So correct option is B inverted U-shape. What is the definition and relationship shown by Laffer curve? This curve is given by Arthur Laffer, shows the relationship between tax rate and total tax revenue. Tax revenue is equal to tax rate into DT is the tax base, which shrink as T rises. T rises, T is tax rate. At T is equal to 0%. Revenue is 0. At T rises, revenue increase up to the revenue maximization rate at T star. Beyond T star, higher taxes discourage work, investment, and compliance revenue will fall. So at T is equal to 100%, revenue is equal to 0, no incentive to work or report income. So this produce the inverted U shape. Revenue maximization tax rate. Policy implication, cutting tax above T star can increase total revenue supply side economy. Let's see the graph of this. We can draw at 0. So let's cut this in this condition. Here is 0 up increase a tax. So it is increased in this manner, and this is a maximum level. Here, this is maximum level of tax rate. Let's now this is based like suppose there is 20, 30, whatever you think. After this, if increase the tax, then the revenue will decrease. So this is like this. So the correct answer is option number B, inverted usage. Laffer curve relation with tax rate and total tax revenue. Now moving to next question. Question number 24. Public good is not characterized by option A, non-rivalness, option B, non-excludability, option C, constantability, and option D, free riding. Not characterized. Let's see the features and meaning. Non-rivalness is one person consumption does not reduce availability for others. Non-excludability is cannot exclude non-peer from consuming. Constantability is related to the constable market theory given by Baumol, and free riding is consequence problem arising from public good people consume. So the correct option is D. Public good is not characterized by free riding. Two different defining character of the pure public good is non-rivalry in consumption and non-excludability. Free riding in the market failure problem that result from three characteristics. These characteristics, it is not itself a defining property. Now question number 25. Assertion is national defense is public good and reason is people want to defend it against external aggression. Option A, both are correct and correct explanation. Option B, both are correct but not correct explanation of assertion. C, assertion is true but reason is false. And option D, assertion is false but reason is true. Let's see explanation. We know the national defense is public good. Yes, it is true. It is non-rival and non-excludable. We explained these definition in previous question. Non-rival is one citizen being defended does not reduce the defense available to other. Non-excludable is once provided no citizen can be excluded from the receiving protection. Reason, it is factually correct that people want protection from external aggression. So, but R does not explain assertion. So this reason is defense is public good. It is not non-rival and non-excludable. So not the fact that people want it. Many goods people want are private good, food, clothing, and phones. The correct explanation must reference economic characteristic, not mere preferences. So correct option is B, not correct explanation, but this fact is national defense is public good. It is true. Question number 26. Match the following and select the correct answer from the codes given below. In group 1, this question from budget. It is very important every time question asked from the budget, sometimes correct current data. So the revenue deficit, physical deficit, and primary deficit, and monetized deficit. Let's see the explanation. What is revenue deficit? Deficit is revenue expenditure minus revenue received. Physical deficit is total expenditure minus non-debt received. Primary deficit is physical deficit minus interest payment. Measure current physical stress excluding past debt burden. Monetized deficit is government borrowing from RBI, but this is now अब ये नहीं किया जाता है. So this is monetized deficit when government require money, they go to RBI and printed more money. It's lead to monetized deficit. So correct is A. Revenue deficit is revenue expenditure minus revenue received. So A1 is 2. So eliminate option B and D. Physical deficit is total expenditure minus non-debt received. So B is 4. So B to the 4. This. So option number A is correct. We these type of question use logic, not go and see all match group 1 and group 2. Use logic and choose correct code. Question number 27. In the elasticity of demand for good is greater than elasticity of supply for the good, then the burden of tax on buyers would be higher than that on sellers. Option B, the burden of tax on buyer would be lower than tax on seller. Option C, the burden of tax on buyer would be equal to that on seller. Option D, incidence cannot be shifted. Let's see through the graph. This is graph. This is demand and supply. This one. Now impose tax. It will go in this way and this will decrease. This is the area of government revenue, and elasticity of demand is greater than the elasticity of supply. So it will lead to burden on buyer would be lower than on seller. Because tax increase, burden will shift to buyer because this area is the consumer surplus and this is producer surplus. When tax impose, then lead to the burden. So here the burden is on buyer and there is no burden on seller. So lower burden on seller and greater burden on buyer. So correct option is option number B. So this question is very important and sometimes directly asked. You can use this graph method and solve it. It is easy to explain. Now this is correct option of this. Let's see the explanation. Tax incidence. Use this formula. This is very important. Burden on buyers divided by burden on seller, elasticity of supply and elasticity of demand. Conditions. Elasticity of demand is greater than elasticity of supply. The burden bearer is less buyer and seller is more. Elasticity of demand is less than elasticity of supply. More burden on buyer and less burden on seller. When the elasticity of demand equal to elasticity of supply, both bear the same burden. Elasticity of demand is equal to 0. The all burden pay by buyer. Elasticity of supply is equal to 0. All burden pay by seller. Intuition behind this, when elasticity of demand is greater than electricity supply, buyer can easily substitute away from the good elastic demand. So seller must observe most of the text to keep buying from leaving the market. Seller being less able to adjust in elastic supply, bear more of the burden. So option B is correct for this question. This is very important. Sometimes question directly asked from this. You have need to remember this. Burden on buyer divided by burden on seller equal to elasticity of supply divided by elasticity of demand. Let's see next question. Question number 28. When marginal propensity to consume is 0.75, the value of balanced budget multiplier 1, 2, 3, 4. We use this formula 1 divided by 1 minus marginal propensity to consume. Marginal propensity to consume is 0.75. Calculate, we got 4. Government expenditure multiplier. Now calculate the value of balance budget multiplier. Use this formula minus MPC divided by 1 minus MPC. 0.75 divided by 0.725 is equal to minus 3. It is tax multiplier. Now calculate balance budget multiplier. This is also known as Harvey-Moe theorem. So the government multiplier plus tax multiplier is equal to 1. Note some standard things. The standard balance budget multiplier is always equal to 1, regardless of marginal propensity to consume, by the Havelomme theorem in 1945. However, the question intent answer is 3, which correspond to the tax multiplier in absolute value. So it is 3. The question likely asks for the magnitude of tax physical multiplier effect on MPC. So correct option is 3. And here is also we can choose option number A. It is 1. So it depend on the conditions of question. So here is question option number C is correct answer. Question number 29. We have assertion and reason. Assertion is a rise in income terms of trade only indicate that the country can obtain a larger volume of imports from the sale of export. Reason is a change in income terms of trade index cannot be interpreted as a measure of gain from trade. Let's see assertion is true. Measure the import purchasing power of export. How many imports can be obtained from the total export earning? A rise in income terms of trade ITT means the country can finance a large volume of imports. This is exactly what states in assertion. Reason is also true. Income terms of trade is not a complete welfare measure of gain from the trade because it ignores the productivity changes in the export sector. It does not capture the factorial terms of trade, and true welfare gain require double factorial terms of trade is equal to ITT into productivity ratio. Reason does not explain assertion because a simply state what ITT measure import capacity and states that ITT cannot measure welfare gain. So these are two independently true statements. So option number B is correct answer through this explanation. Now let's see some or other things. Terms of trade measure what is capture. So net barter TOT terms of trade is equal to export divided by import. It is pure price ratio. Income terms of trade ITT is capture the net barter into quantity of export minus import capacity. Single factorial terms of trade is capture net barter terms of trade into export productivity. Double factorial terms of trade is equal to net barter terms of trade into export import productivity. So the correct option is option B. Both statements are true, but not correct explanation of accession. Now moving to question number 30. According to Leontief study, this is the contradict of Axial-Orlean theory. Option A, USA export consisted of capital intensive good. US export consisted of labor intensive good. US imports consisted of labor intensive good and none of the above. So Axial-Orlean theory is talking about country have more intensive in that conditions. For example, country have more intensive in capital, country produce a capital intensive good, and in labor intensive country produce a labor intensive good. In Leonti paradox, it is changed. So USA in a theory of HO, Axial is USA produce a capital intensive good. But in Leonti paradox states the US produce a labor intensive good. It is contradict of Axial theory. So option number B is correct option. This paradox in 1953 was landmark empirical finding that contradicted the HO theory. So the human capital US work had higher skill, education, effective labor abundance, technology difference. US had superior technology embodied in labor factor intensity reversal. Some goods may be labor intensive in one country and capital intensive in another country. Demand bias. US consumers had relatively stronger preference for the capital intensive good. So correct option number B. USA export consisted of labor intensive good. Now moving to question number 31. According to the theory of optimum tariff, option 1, the higher a country monopoly power in foreign trade, the large in the scope for its optimal tariff. Option 2, larger the change in relative price, the lower the country should set its optimal tariff. Option 3, statement 3, is if second country price elasticity is high, the first country will not gain much from tariff. Fourth one is as long as the foreign country offer curve elasticity is less than or equal to unity, the home country can improve or increase tariff. Let's see. Choose the correct option. A, 1 and 2 are correct. In B, 2, 3 and 4 are correct. C, 1 and 3 are correct. And D, all 4 are correct. Let us see explanation. Optimum tariff theory. A country with monopoly and monopoly power, its trade can improve in terms of trade by imposing a tariff. The optimal tariff rate is T star is equal to 1 divided by E star minus 1. E star is elasticity of foreign country offer curve. Export supply elasticity. So let's see the one. It's true. Greater monopoly power, more ability to shift the terms of trade, larger scope for optimal tariff. Second is also true. A large change in relative price induced by the tariff major greater terms of trade gain country can afford to set a targeted optimal rate. Third is if the foreign country supply is highly elastic, E star tends to infinity, then T star is equal to 0. The first country gain little since the foreign country easily adjust. Fourth is also true. The E star less than equal to 1 is inelastic offer curve. The formula T star is equal to 1 by E star minus 1 because large divided by undefined, meaning home country has significant scope to improve terms of trade by tariff. So correct option is D, all are correct. Question number 32. Match the following and select the correct answer. Group 1, center, periphery, thesis, factor proportion theorem, reciprocal demand, and went for surplus theory. In group 2, given economist name Marshall, Axial-Orlean, Paul, Previs, Elworth, and G. Weiner. So center periphery thesis is given by Roll, Previch, and Hans Singer. Developed this hypothesis face secular deterioration in terms of trade relative to their developed country center. This forms the basis of dependency theory. So A is connect to the third, fall privilege. Second, factor proportion theorem. This is given by Xerolin. Country export goods that use the abundant factor intensity and import goods that use scarce factor intensity. So B is with 2. Third, reciprocal demand given by Marshall and J.S. Mill developed the theory of reciprocal demand and offer curves to determine the equilibrium terms of trade between two countries. Went for surplus theorem, Ellsworth, originally by the Adam Smith, elaborated by the Merent and Ellsworth. Trade provide an outlet went for surplus productive capacity that would otherwise remain idle in the closed economy. So option number D, C is correct. Here we are not added the options, so you can match with the help of this a center periphery theory with the third one, role previous and factor proportion with Elso theory, reciprocal demand to with Marshall, and went for surplus with Ellsworth. Now moving to next question. Question number 33. If margin MPC is 0.8 and marginal propensity to import is 0.3, an increase in export of rupees 100 will lead to increase in national income by RS 100, 300, 300 and 400. Let's see. In open economy, the foreign trade multiplier is K is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus MPC plus MPI. MPI is import, marginal propensity to import is equal to 1 upon MPS plus 1 plus MPI. So MPS come from, it is important condition, marginal propensity to consume plus marginal propensity to save is equal to 1. MPS is equal to 1. So when we calculate MPC, we also use MPS is equal to where we can transfer this to this side, so it will correct it. So it come a marginal propensity to save. So calculate marginal propensity to save 1 minus 0.8. 0.8 is marginal propensity to consume. So it will 0.2 and MPI is also given 0.3. Put to the formula and we will get a 2 and a rupee change by 100. It lead to 200, and however the question intended answer is 300, which corresponding to using the only import multiplier 0.3 is with 300, it will lead to 300. So correct option is option number C, 300. Option B is also correct. Here the two options is given, so it's a typing error, no problem. Use formula, we can calculate in this way. A multiplier formula is 1 by MPS plus MPI is 2, and into change in income is 100, so it is 200, and 3 to 300, and change the value of multiplier is 5, and change in income is 100, so it is 500. Intended answer with the 300, so correct option is 300. Now moving to next question. Question number 34. In Mundell model, a country should use monetary policy to achieve external balance, use monetary policy to achieve internal balance, use fiscal policy to achieve internal balance, should use exchange control and not monetary or physical policy. Let's see the Mundell assignment rule. Principle of effective market classification. Two tool, monetary policy and physical policy. Assign target, internal balance and external balance. When we talking about monetary policy is assigned the target is internal balance. In physical policy, assigned target is external balance. So question is talking about country should do in Mundell model. Reason is control interest rate, and when the interest rate is decrease, investment is increase, so output will increase in AD equation. In physical policy, affect income, it's lead to imports and balance of trade and terms of trade. Let's see internal balance. Full employment without inflation, domestic macroeconomic stability, external balance, equilibrium in balance of payment. It is most important for in external balance condition. So Mundell-Fleming model is under fixed exchange rate. Monetary policy is more effective for internal targets by interest rate, capital flow, and income. While fiscal policy influence the current account through income and imports, so each policy instrument should be matched to the goal in influence most competitively effectively. So monetary base for internal balance and fiscal policy for external balance. So option number B is correct answer. Monetary goals for to achieve इंटरनल बैलेंस एंड एक्सटर्नल बैलेंस के लिए कुछ दिया नहीं है इसमें सो द करेक्ट ऑप्शन हमें चूज करना है सो हियर इज नॉट गिवन द टू ऑप्शन एक्सचेंज कंट्रोल एंड नॉन मॉनेटरी एंड फिजिकल पॉलिसी सो वी विल गो विद द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी टू अचीव इंटरनल बैलेंस अगर या ऑप्शन ए में हमें दिया होता मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी की जगह पर फिजिकल पॉलिसी टू अचीव एक्सटर्नल बैलेंस तो वी कैन करेक्ट आल्सो दिस वन सो द conditions of option we can go with two use monetary policy to achieve internal balance. Question number 35. In the budget of 2002 3 has brought down the peak level of custom duty to 20%, 25%, 30% and 35%. This paper is 2004. So question come from budget 2002 and 2003. Let's see the peak level of custom duty. Trade liberalization peak custom duty trajectory. In 1991, custom duty is more than 150%. This is pre-reform era condition. We will go with the finance minister also. In 1991-92, custom duty is 110%. That time, finance minister is Manmohan Singh, Dr. Manmohan Singh sir. In 1995-1996, custom duty is 50%. Finance minister P. Chidambaram. 2001, 35% custom duty. Finance minister Yashwant Sinha. 2001 and 2, 30%. Yashwant Sinha, also finance minister. In 2002 and 3, Yashwant Sinha, finance minister, and custom duty is reduced to 25. And 2003 and 4, 20%. Yes, Jaswant Sinha. Singh, sorry. In 2001 to 2003, finance minister Yashwant Sinha. 2004, Jaswant Singh. Union Budget 2002 and 3 reduced peak custom duty from 30% to 25%. And this was consistent with the Indian WTO commitment and the goal of aligning with the ASEAN tariff level. So correct option is B, option number B, 25%. Now moving to next question, question number 36. The share of services sector in GDP in India, 40%, around 45%, around 50%, around 55%. This question paper is 2004, so this ask around 2003 and 2002 the share of service sector in GDP. Current time it is more than 50%. And so let's see this is sectoral composition of India's 2004 data for 2004. So sector agriculture, industry and services share in GDP 22% in agriculture, 27% in industry and 50% in service sector. Key subsectors in agriculture, farming, forestry, fishing. In industry, manufacturing, construction and mining. Service sector, IT, banking, trade and transport services. In India, service sector has been growing rapidly through the 1990s and early 2000, driven by IT and software export, Infosys, TCS, Wipro boom, banking and financial service liberalization, telecom sector expansion, retail trade and hospitality growth. So India become a global leader in IT service export, contributing in the service sector dominance. So correct option is option number B, around 50% in GDP, service sector contribute share. Question number 37. Which of the following statement about Green Revolution is correct? Option A, Green Revolution was due to land reform. Green Revolution was due to introduce of HYV seeds. Green Revolution was due to increased use of fertilizer. And D, all of the above. Father of Green Revolution is more important, MS Swaminathan sir. So three factor role of the Green Revolution mid 1960s to 1970s. Land reform is created incentive to structure for farmers to invest in new technology. HYV seeds, high yielding variety seeds, drafted by Norman Warlock, IR8 rice. Fertilizer, high yielding variety seeds required much higher dose of chemical fertilizer, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. So additional factor expansion of irrigation, canal and tube wells, institution support by MSP, PDS and NABARD, pesticides and plant protection measure. So all three statements are true. The correct Green Revolution was due to land reforms. Green Revolution for introduce high yielding variety seeds and due to increase use of fertilizer. So correct option number D, all of the above. Question number 38. Assertion and reason. Interstate disparities have increased in India in post-reform period. Reason, industrial licensing, which restricted concentration of industries in richer states, has been abolished. Option both are correct and correct explanation. Both are correct, but not correct explanation. In option C, A are correct, R is wrong. D, A is correct and R is wrong. So let's see. Assertion is true. Post 1991 liberalization, interstate income disparities widened significantly. Fast growing states, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Delhi attract the foreign direct investment and industry. Slow growing states, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, these states are also known as Bimaru state. The coefficient of variation of per capita state income increased after 1991. Reason is industrial licensing, which restricted concentration of industry in the richer state, has been abolished. So it is also true. Industry Development and Regulation Act 1951, industry licensing prevented industry from the concentrating its already developed region, directed industry to backward areas through the licensing condition. After abolition of industrial licensing in 1991, industries freely choose location with better infrastructure, ports, skilled labor, naturally concentrated in richer states. So the correct explanation is a removal of license restriction allowed market forces to direct industries to efficient already developed state, thereby increasing regional inequality. When the government and some other things industry license, there is a long process. After abolish this restriction, then the market is competitive and new firm enter, so it lead to the significant effects. So that's why the option number A is correct. Assertion and reason and correct explanation of assertion. Question number 39. Match the following and select the correct answer from the codes. Set A and set B, Rangarajan committee, Narsimhan committee, Kelkar committee, and Malhotra committee. Let's see. Rangarajan Committee for what? Rangarajan Committee in coming in 1991 and 1993. Reform area is disinvestment. So the A is Rangarajan Committee with this one. Let's see in code. A is 3. So option B and C is eliminate. Now let's see. Narsimhan Committee for what? Narsimhan Committee coming in 1991 and 1998 for financial sector and banking reform. So the Narsimhan Committee matched with financial reform. So this is for with 4. So let's see option B with 4. So correct option is D. It is easy to find in this way. Kelkar Committee for in coming in 2002 and 3 for tax reform, direct and indirect tax, and also the roadmap of GDP is coming to the picture in 2002 and 3. Malhotra Committee coming in 1994 for insurance reforms, recommended opening insurance. Key tips for exam perspective: Narsimhan, National Banking Reform; Malhotra, Mutual Insurance Reform; Kelkar, K, Taxation Reform; and Rangarajan, Restructuring Disinvestment. So correct option is D. Now moving to next question. Question number 40. In which of the following years India have a surplus on current account balance of payment? Option A 1998, 1999, 1999 to 2000, 2000, 2001, and none of the above. India historically ran a current account deficit due to its trade deficit. However, in 2000 to 2001 was a rare exception when India recorded a current account surplus. In 1990 deficit, again 2000 and deficit. In 2002, 2001 is surplus, and 2001 and 2002 surplus continued briefly. So correct option is option number C is correct. Reason for surplus: strong growth in software, IT service export, significant increase in NRI remittance, slowdown in import demand due to domestic recession, strong growth in invisible earnings, service and transfer. So after post 1991 reform, boosting export competitiveness. That's why the correct option is C. 2000 to 2001 in India has the surplus. Question number 41. With which of the following countries did India have trade surplus during the last 3 years? Question paper 2004. So think in that manner. US, Russia, UK, and Japan. Choose correct code A and B, A and C, B and C, and C and D. That time, India have trade surplus with Russia and UK. This is the 2004 condition. So let's see with US deficit and Japan deficit. Key export software textile with USA, Russia for pharmaceutical and tea, with UK software, gems and textile, with Japan iron ore. Key imports machinery and aircraft with USA, Russia key import defense equipment, with UK export machinery, with Japan export electronics and machinery. India maintained a trade surplus with Russia due to historical rupee ruble trade arrangement and strong pharmaceutical tea export. India has trade surplus with UK driven by software service, gems and jewelry and textile export. USA and Japan remained major source of India trade deficit. So that's why option number C is correct answer. Question number 42. What is the current share of direct taxes in total tax revenue of the central government? Around 17%, around 27%, around 33%, and around 37%. Sorry. So explanation. Composition of central government tax revenue in 2004. Direct tax, component income tax and corporation tax share 27%, and indirect tax, custom duties, excise duty and service tax, that is 73%. So correct option is option number B, around 27% direct tax revenue, total tax revenue by direct tax. So India historically relied more on the indirect tax due to large informal economy and large income tax base. Kelkar Committee 2002 and 3 recommended broadening the direct tax base to increase this year. Post 2010 reforms gradually increased direct tax share to 55% as corporate and personal income tax collection grow. Direct tax formula calculated by income tax plus corporation tax divided by total tax revenue into 100 is equal to that time period, that is 27%. So this is option number B is correct for this question. Question number 43. Interest payment as percent of revenue expenditure of central government is currently around 50%, around 25%, around 30%, and around 35%. Option C is correct, around 30%. Paper is 24. These things I said multiple times, so that's why, because questions are coming from budgets in that year in 2000 paper, 2004 paper. This paper is December cycle, so the budget coming in February. That's why the more question from budgets. Interest payment were the single largest component of central government revenue expenditure around 2004. Component of revenue expenditure, approximate share. Interest payment is 30%. Now it's reduced around 16 to 17%. Defense revenue 15%, subsidy 10%, salary pension 20%, grant to state 50%, others 10%. So high interest burden was result by accumulated public debt from the years of persistent physical deficit. So debt trap condition, R is greater than R, G implies interest divided by revenue expenditure. So R is interest rate on debt or G is growth rate. So FRBM Act 2003, this act for the reduce the deficit. So physical responsibility and budget management was intact to control its growing interest burden. So correct option is option number C, around 30% central revenue, central government interest payment. Question number 44. When the fluctuations of two time series are negatively correlated, then option A, the trend may be the same direction, the trend may be opposite direction, there is no trend at all. And option D, it is difficult to estimate a meaningful trend. Option B, the trend may be in the opposite direction and negatively correlated. Let's see. When the two time series have negatively correlated fluctuation, that time the correlation is less than 0. When the series X move up, series Y move down, and vice versa. This implies their movements trend are in opposite direction. Negative correlation does not mean no trend. Both series can have clear trend just in opposite direction. Correlation, when R is greater than 0, it is positive in same direction. R is less than 0, it is negative in opposite direction. For example, GDP and employment is same direction. Unemployment and growth is negative direction and opposite direction. R is equal to 0, no linear relationship in random series. So correct option is B. Trend may be in the opposite direction in case of what? Negatively correlated. In that condition, correlation is R is less than 0. Now moving to next question. Question number 45. Assertion given for large sample means can be tested using the standard normal distribution. The reason is when original population has normal distribution means of sample from this population has T distribution. Option A, assertion and reason are correct and correct explanation of reason. Option B, both are correct but not correct explanation. A is true but R is false. A is false but R is true. Let's see the explanation. For large sample means can be tested using the standard normal distribution. Yes, by the center limit theorem, it is true. When the sample is greater than 30, use Z distribution with mean 0 and variance 1 for large sample. Formula is x bar minus mu divided by sigma upon under root n. Reason, sorry. When original population and normal distribution means of sample from this population as t distribution. Yes, it is true. Population is normally distributed. Sample means huge t distribution, but not correct explanation because t is less t distribution used when the sample is less than 30 and less and greater than 30 we also use the z distribution. This is the fact for this test statistics. Condition large sample we can use z test. In a small sample we use t test. Normal population. So the A is true because center limits theorem for large sample, not because of normal population. But R is also as true. But logic behind this, it is not logically explained assertion. So correct option is B. A and B are true. And sorry, A and R is true, but not correct explanation. Now moving to next question. Question number 46. Two alternatives, X and Y, have equal expected value, but Y has higher variance than X. A person choosing Y over X is a risk lover, risk averse, risk neutral, and speculator. This is explanation. Expectation of X is equal to expectation of Y, but variance of Y is greater than variance of X. Variance calculate the variation and expectation calculate the expected value or mean. So the type of risk averse preference is dislikes risk and utility function is concave in condition of what? Risk averse. So it is lower variance X. In risk neutral, indifferent to risk, the utility function is linear and choose indifferent. Risk lover preference is loves risk. Utility function is convex and high variance. So our risk lover prefers the gamble with higher variance when the expected value are equal. Their marginal utility of wealth is increasing. They get extra utility from the excitement of higher risk. That's why expected utility is Y is greater than expected utility of X for risk lover equal to this. The variance of Y is greater than variance of X. A speculator is related but not the free miles, the technical terms. The correct answer here is the risk lover. So correct option is option number A is correct answer. Now moving to next question. Just erase this. Just a second. Now moving to next question, 47. Which among the following is not a sample distribution? A, standard normal distribution, B, Poisson distribution, T distribution, and D, chi-square distribution. Normal distribution type of sample distribution used for mean large sample with the help of center limit theorem. Sampling is yes. Poisson distribution, probability distribution, discrete event in interval. Sampling is no. T distribution type of sampling distribution used for mean, small variance, and normal population. Sampling is yes. Chi-square distribution type is sampling distribution used for variance, goodness of fit, and sampling is also possible by yes. So correct option is B. Which of the following is not a sampling distribution? That is Poisson distribution. Sampling distribution is our probability distribution for statistic. Example, sample mean, sample variance computed from the repeated samples. Poisson distribution is population probability distribution for the number of events occurring in fixed interval of the time or space. So the equation of Poisson distribution is equal to e की power minus lambda k divided by k factorial. Here lambda is mean. So it is not derived from sampling. It models the population directly. So correct option is B for this question. Question number 47. Now moving to question number 48. For two events A and B, A P probability P A or B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. A and B are independent events. A and B occur simultaneously. A and B are mutually exclusive event and none of the above. So general additional rule of probability for A and union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. For probability A union B is equal to probability A plus probability B, we need here probability of A intersection B is equal to 0. So this means A and B cannot occur simultaneously. They are mutually exclusive events. Some other things we have need to know. For exam perspective, mutually exclusive condition is P is probability of A intersection B is equal to 0. In independent condition, probability of A and B is equal to probability of A into B, and simultaneous probability of A intersection B is greater than 0. So additional formula for this is the A intersection A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. For probability of A union B, also the second formula is this probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A into probability of B. And in condition of simultaneous, probability of A union B is less than probability of A plus probability of B. So note, important note here is mutually exclusive events are not independent unless one has zero probability. If A and B are mutually exclusive and both have positive probability, knowing A occurred means B cannot occur. So they are independent. So correct option is option number C for this. Now question number 49. Match the item in group 1 with group 2. Means test with small sample, means test with large sample, test of independence, and test comparing variance. Group 2 chi statics, T statics, F statics, and Z static. So the explanation means test small sample size, use T statics with the formula T is equal to x bar minus mu upon S divided by under root n. Tn minus 1 is the degree of this condition for T table. Mean T large sample, use Z statics formula for Z is equal to x bar minus mu divide by sigma upon under root n with normal mean 0 and variance is 1. Test of independence, use chi-square statics. Formula is chi-square is equal to the sum of O minus E the power square divided by E. Comparing variance, use F static. F is equal to S1 square divided by F2 S2 square. Lead to normally with n1 minus 1 and n2 minus 1 for the freedom. So in a summary, T test for a small sample, Z test for large sample, chi square test for independence and consistency table goodness of fit, F test compare to variance also used for ANOVA condition in econometrics. For a dummy variable, I think so. The correct option is it match these following means test for a small sample with the large sample with Z static test of independence. So first they look at a code. For a mean test with the sample size is F test. So A का होगा हमारा 2. A का 2 in which condition? A का 2 here in both. So option A and option D are eliminate. B ka large sample with 3, B ka 4. So this is correct answer. So I think option B is correct answer. Now moving to question number 50. In 2004 paper, total number of questions are 50. That's why the last question of this paper is read question. Line of regression of y on x and x on y is intersect at which? At origin, at x bar and y bar, at x axis and at y axis. Explanation of this question. So to regression line formula, use this by minus y bar is equal to b by x. This is regression coefficient y on x and second is x on y. So proof for both pass through the in what conditions. So you have options at origin, at x bar, y bar, at x axis and at y axis. So proof of this, it lead to substituting the condition with other equations. So it lead to y is equal to y bar and x is equal to x bar. Therefore, the both regression line pass through and intersect at x bar, y bar. So point of intersection value x bar and y bar when r is equal to plus minus 1. So both lines coincide. R is equal to 0. Lines are perpendicular and angle between lines depend on r. R is the correlation. So correct option for this question is x bar and y bar. So these 50 questions are explained by today's session, and it is important for upcoming exam of UGC NET Economics, and similar kind of question asked sometimes. And most important in this paper, 4 to 5 questions directly coming from the budgets, and year after year, 4 to 5 questions is coming directly from budgets. An important theory like this model Fleming model and terms of trade conditions and micro reveal preference theory. So I have also for a summary of this, and you read to these concept. So it is help in exam. So this is summary and with answer. Key concept also at law of return for one question. This is the list, and I will share this PDF with you, so you can easily find out the key concepts of all this question. Thanks for watching and stay happy. And now we will meet in next session with the question paper of year 2005. Thanks for watching.